was it cool in my neighborhood to read? You know, it was cool to be dumb, I always say, and I wouldn't take nothing back. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't take no. My journey and what I went through. I just wouldn't take any. The way I did it and the way it happened, it had to happen that way. So it's hard for me to say that I was supposed to learn how to read at 30. You know, I wasn't supposed to. I was supposed to do comedy and do all the things that I was doing, and then at 30, I'm like, oh, this is what I need to do. This is the way I'm supposed to live life. I need to know how to read. I need to know how to write. You know what I mean? So it's like everything happened for the reason that it happened. My whole journey in life, I wouldn't take nothing back, and I thank God for every moment, the good, the bad, the ugly. It don't even matter. I just feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. Well, growing up for me on the south side of Chicago, I'm from the Wild Hundreds. They call it the Wild Hundreds, and I'm on. I mean, my block is beautiful. You know what I mean? Grass is manicured. Everything is nice, but it was wild. You know what I mean? Like a guy across the street from me got shot and killed. The two shorty that lives across the street from me was killing people. You know what I mean? So it was wild. We had the guy that ran the Mickey Cobras lived across the street. And thank God I had my mother and father who was strict. So my mother and them wouldn't let me go to the gang meeting. And his mother wouldn't let me come over there because she knew that my mother didn't want me over there. So I, you know, lucked out of that, thank God. And but then going into high school, and when I say this too in my neighborhood was being smart was uncool. Being dumb was cool. You know, stealing bikes, stealing cars. Dude, we used to have a stolen car on my block all the time. Like I say, my block looked nice, but it was a Camaro sitting over there that my boy, it was like his car. He'd park it, go out, hit the pin thing, and be out. You know, and I've been to jail so many times just on bull crap. You know what I'm saying? Bullshit and and then going to high school. Luckily for my sister, who was a very pretty girl, she was doing radio, TV, and at Percy L. Julian High School, and she's 2 years older than me. So my mom used to make me go after school with her to kind of cock block pretty much. So I'll go up there and make sure nobody was messing with her. But I'm actually looking at the stuff that they were doing with cameras and editing and all that. So my freshman year of high school, I'm on the camera working like I was at orientation, like I went to the school already. So I kind of fell in love with that, and then we would put things together and show it in the lunchroom. But that was the only class I was really liking. Then I tried to play basketball. I made the team, but I remember we had to run up to the Evergreen Plaza from Percy Julian was on 103rd, Evergreen Plaza on 95th. We had to run up there. I didn't want to do that. I'm like, I don't know about this. So I stopped and I just was doing radio, TV. But then I had all my best friends one of my best friends, his brother ran the Black Gangsters. So I'd be over there. Everybody was scared of him too. His name was KC Capone. Everybody in the whole neighborhood was scared of him. It was like my mother, it was like, you don't go past 103rd Street, you're going to get your bike stolen. But KC, not for nothing, KC really had the neighborhood on lock where crack cocaine didn't come in our neighborhood, which saved us. He wouldn't let nobody sell crack in the neighborhood, period. You know what I mean? That saved our families, really, And when it come to gangs, it was organization and all of that. But he was just that dude. And so I became best friends with his brother. So I'd be over there. I got to know him. This dude is like the coolest dude ever. You know what I mean? But he don't play. If you mess with him or his family, forget about it. So that was part of the growing up. And then we was always protected. We was like honorary gang members because we never had to pay dues or do anything. We just was, protected. You know what I'm saying? But that would get us in troubles too because we'd get into fights, all the time. It was crazy. And so that was my, early life. But now I'm still doing radio, TV. I still was funny. I used to host the talent shows I was the youngest one in my high school to host a talent show. I hosted the teacher's talent show my sophomore year of high school. Wind up hosting the big talent show my junior year, and of course my senior year I was just doing it. So I knew I had that in me. So I knew I can make people laugh. I knew I could command the crowd. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then but still, I was, just wasn't paying. I fell in love with this one girl I met at the plaza. She told me she was going to Northern. I was like, oh shit, I got to get to Northern somehow. I went to Olive Harvey College, figured out to get this girl. To get this girl, I went to Olive Harvey College, got my grades up enough to go to Northern. Got accepted. Of course, got kicked out. Went to jail up there. Everything just like OC. I went to jail in Northern because it's still segregated. Chicago's segregated. So we walking with my homegirl, and she bumped into a white girl, and they get to arguing, and the dudes and them, talking. We just sitting back looking, and then they get to like fighting the girl and my homegirl, and then dude was like, Becky came around and stole on my girl, dude. It was a 3-on-3 fight though, but we whooped them, and we wound up going to jail. So that was one of the things that I went to jail for at Northern. I think me and Chike's evolution as filmmakers is, I'm gonna just say it like this: we're not gonna let our imagination get in the way of God's manifestation. So you never know what we just gonna keep building. You know what I mean? And keep working and keep believing and keep grinding and man, keep creating. So you know. I definitely, like I say, I'm not gonna let my imagination get in the way of His manifestation, and you know, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, of course, and there's been points in my life where I had fear of failure, but what I came to realize is, and what Martin Luther King says so well, is that until you lose the fear of death, you don't live. Martin Luther King said that, and I'm like, that's so real. You know what I mean? So it's like that's the ultimate fear is death, and you lose that fear. And I'm like, since I know Jesus Christ and I know all the things that I overcame and how He helped me through it, I'm not scared to die. Why would I be? You know what I mean? I'm not. Fear is if like I think in Will Smith movie they was like danger is real and fear is a choice. You know what I mean? So it's like that's how I live life. So at this point, I have no fear. Like I said, what I've seen and been through, if fear not in front of, if the danger is not right here, then I'm not even thinking about it. You know what I'm saying, man? And we didn't fail so many times, and to the point where I'm like, oh man, thank God for this. When we don't get a movie, although we did so well in a picture, we did so well in whatever we're doing, and we don't get it, I thank God every time. So I know He got something great, and it wasn't for me. So it's hard to have any fear of failure at this moment, and because I just got a lot of faith. I think the advice that I would give somebody who want to get into filmmaking and TV period is to know that that's what you want to do. To know that that's something that you can do forever, and then love doing it. First, you got to do that, and to have a destination of where you want to go with this. Don't just go in it like, okay, I'm gonna just do it. Just have to know that I'm gonna do it for a purpose and a reason, and don't fall for just anything. You know what I'm saying? We will turn down videos because everybody after we did Through the Wire, they was like, "Oh, can you do this video? Oh yeah." We want you to do it like this. We're like, no, look, we should do this. So we coming up with creative treatment. So, stay true to yourself. You know what I mean? And just keep going, no matter what, no matter all the pitfalls, the roadblocks. When we hit a roadblock, that's not a roadblock. It's another direction you're supposed to go in. That God is taking you to a whole nother direction to go, and you just see that road. Don't try to go over the roadblock. No, go in the direction you're supposed to go in until you get to your destination, because He will get you there if you know where you're going. You know what I mean? I just tell people it's like leaving out the house and don't know where you're gonna go. You're gonna leave out the house and just be either standing on the porch or walking around the corner in circles. You got to know where you want to go, and that's the destination. So don't just go jump in the film like, oh man, I got a camera. Understand why you got the camera and what you're gonna do with the camera and how you're gonna change lives and make a difference in lives. in people's lives. So that's my advice to people who want to get into filmmaking. And so I mean, it's like, was it cool in my neighborhood to read? You know, it was cool to be dumb, I always say, and that actually you know, was, I wouldn't take nothing back. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't take my journey and what I went through. I just wouldn't take the way I did it and the way it happened. It had to happen that way. So it's hard for me to say that I wish that wouldn't happen, because I was supposed to learn how to read at 30. You know, I wasn't supposed to. I was supposed to do comedy and do all the things that I was doing, and then at 30, I'm like, oh, this is what I need to do. This is the way I'm supposed to live life. I need to know how to read. I need to know how to write. And if I was able to read and write, and when Jeffrey came to us about the Ben Wilson story, and I would have wrote that, it wouldn't have been time, because I didn't know Billy Moore. You know what I mean? So it's like everything happened for the reason that it happened. That movie is supposed to happen right when it's going to happen, and I can't even say when that is. God willing, when it happens, it happens. You know, so it's just one of them things that, you know, my whole journey in life, I wouldn't take nothing back, and I thank God for every moment, the good, the bad, the ugly. It don't even matter. I just feel like this is where I'm supposed to be, because I'm right here, right now, talking to my boy Jello, who I just seen at Stonehouse the other day, yesterday, who I just flew in. So Brian Maddox, you know what I'm saying? It took me to France, showed me a whole nother experience in life, you know what I'm saying? Walks up at the Soul House, and we all here, you know what I mean? So it's like everything is for this moment. So that's how I look at life. So we you know, doing music videos and, you know, just, you know, building our careers. Me and Chike, my man Brian Maddox, who I knew, you know, just knew from Chicago, period, came to us because he was working at an agency, and it was like, yo, we got opportunity with, you know, to do this Courvoisier joint with Big Tigger in France. We're like, France, bet, let's do it. What we got to do? Let's go, right? So he put it all together, and we wound up going, not even knowing we was going to get. You know, like I said, don't let your imagination get in the way of God's manifestation. We get there. It's a big chateau. I think it was Napoleon's chateau, this huge house that we stand at, right? So we go in, and we all had our own big room, huge room, antique furniture, beautiful spot. I'm talking about we're butlers, everything. You know, we'll come out, Courvoisier sitting there, we drinking. We drunk some Courvoisier that was as old as George Washington. They took us to like cellars, and then we'd come out, we'd be in a big factory, right? Going through the factory, big ass barrels everywhere. We'd go in one room, it'd be a table set out with the best food you could want. A butler be at the end of the table, and we like, what in the world? It was insane. It was to the point where, not for nothing, we wind up with the blend master running to the train to go to Paris. We get to the train with the blend master of Courvoisier, go to Paris. We like want to kick it. We like, man, let's go to the strip club. We go to the strip club. We in the strip club, and we like, okay, well, since we were Courvoisier, we probably should drink Courvoisier. So we like, y'all have any Courvoisier? They was like, well, we don't. And we was like, okay, we'll figure it out. Next thing I know, they come to the table with some Louis, whatever, the most expensive Courvoisier. Like, oh, they said you guys might be coming, and gave us that. That's how crazy this trip was. It was the best trip. Like, this is one of them trips you'd be like, I wish my mama never could be here experiencing this, right? You know what I'm saying? Or my girl, whoever. It was one of them trips, and I thank my man Brian Maddox for that experience. You know, me and Chike had it. Big Tigger, we kicked it. Oh, it was crazy. With that experience, I mean, I just realized that, I mean, just going to France, period, and just seeing a whole nother, you know, culture, period. You know what I mean? And meeting these great people, and just seeing how they just took to Tigger. You know what I'm saying? We know him from the hip hop, from the basement. You know what I mean? And him, he was a collector of Cognac. You know what I mean? Like, who would have known? You're a collector of Cognac? Like, what? Who collect Cognac? And just to bring the two worlds together, even though Cognac is our drink, we do, you know, we some Hennessy, Courvoisier, Cognac drinkers, you know, our culture is, but to go experience on how it's being made, and to know, oh, Cognac is Cognac France and not just Cognac a liquor. You know, to even know the region and all that. It was just one of them things, and I think that that you know, I wouldn't say that was the first of that, but you know, hip hop was just growing at that time, and all the brands knew that they needed to get on board with what was about to be what it is now, which is the biggest thing. You know, hip hop is the culture of the world. You know what I mean? So we was at the, I wouldn't say the forefront, but we got to experience that in another way. Yo, what's up? This Coodie, one half of Coodie and Chike. You checking out 24/7 HH. Well, man, Jello. Yes, sir.